Good morning, students. Welcome to online session of accountancy. In till previous class, I have explained some topics of chapter 7th, that is economic accounts. In today's class, I will explain 2-3 topics. The first topic is calls in arrears. When that any shareholder they are not paying the call money that was due on allotment or any other calls, that time it is called calls in arrears. This is also called unpaid amount regarding that particular allotment or calls. Now here is where having choice that they may be transferred to calls in arrears or may not be transferred to call in arrears. Now when we will say that as amount was not given to the company, then one question arises regarding that interest. If the shareholders they are not giving that due amount, then interest should be levied or not. So here again we are having two conditions, like if that interest to be charged is specified in the articles of association, then according to that interest shareholders they have to give amount to the company. If this clause is silent in articles of association, then here Companies Act 2013 table F is there, this will be applicable. Now according to this table, interest on calls in arrears is at the rate of 10%. Now we will see how this calls in arrears will be recorded. As I have explained, there are two methods of recording or accounting calls in arrears. First is without opening calls in arrears account and second is with opening calls in arrears account. First we are having without opening calls in arrears account. Now here what will happen, as you can see when a journal entry here, as you are knowing, first entry will be for the due amount and second entry at the time of receiving of that amount. So suppose there is first call that shareholders they have not paid. So entry will be shares first call account debit to share capital. And next entry as it will be for the receiving of that particular call. So entry will be bank account debit to shares first call. Now here when you will see the amount, there is difference of amount. In first entry it is 20,000 and second entry it is 19,000. So there is difference of 1,000. Why there is difference? Because 500, the share of 500, shareholder of 500 shares, he have not paid first call money. Now when it will be asked to prepare that first call account, then we will write that particular, we will post that particular entry in ledger. Now how it will be posted, you can see, as we are, which account we are making, share first call account. Now we are having here in journal entry for share first call account as it has been debited to share capital. So as we are making share first call account debit, then debit side we will write this one to share capital account. Okay. Next entry, bank has been debited and share first call account has been credited. So likewise we will come to credited side and we will write by bank amount 19,000. Now when we will balance it, there is a difference of 1,000 rupees. This is calls in arrear. Likewise we can do when we will not open current account. Now second case, when we will open the current calls in arrears account, that time there will be three entries. Okay, first entry is for the due amount of first call. As you can see here, share first call account debit to share capital account. The call money which was due, that is 20,000. Second entry is for the receiving of that share first call amount. How much company have received? Only 19,000. Now here you can see there is a difference of 1,000. This 1,000 will be considered as calls in arrears. Now we are having two choices here. First you can see this one here, single entries are given. Another is we can write combined entry regarding third and fourth. So as we will write, when we will write combined entry, that time this due entry will be remaining same and combined entry is for this second and third. Third entry will be bank account debit, calls in arrears account debit to share first call. Now we are having how this call-in areas will be disclosed in balance sheet. So it will be disclosed in balance sheet in the manner of notes to account under share capital, and it will be deducted from the amount of subscribed but not fully paid up. Okay. Next is calls in advance. Means when that company they have accepted the amount, which is not uh, due. Okay, means in advance they have received or accepted that particular amount, and it should be allowed by the articles of association. This kind of receiving of amount is called calls in advance. As it is in advance, it is a kind of liability. Now this case may occur in the partial or pro rata allotment also. Now how it will be disclosed in balance sheet? So as advance is a kind of liability, it will be shown in equities and liabilities part of the balance sheet, and it will be shown under the head of current liabilities and subhead other current liabilities. Now we can see the journal entry for receiving of that particular amount as advance. Entry will be bank account debit to calls in advance account, and against which, suppose it has been received against the first call, then when again first call will be due, that time this amount will be transferred to that relevant call. So second entry will be for the adjustment of that amount in respective call. So calls in advance debit, calls in advance account debit to relevant call. Say if it is first call, then it will be written like first call. If it will be second call, then instead of first here second will be written. Now again there will be question of interest on calls in advance. Suppose a company they have received that amount in advance, and if they have not done that work, if not given the service, then there are again two cases according to articles of association. If that percentage is written, according to that percentage, and interest will be given to the shareholders. If articles of association is silent in this manner, then again table F of the Companies Act 2013 will be applied, and according to that 12% per annum will be given to the shareholder. Now we will understand about share issued for consideration other than cash. Before this I have explained issue of shares on cash. So there are some more cases in which cash will not be involved, and any purchase of asset or purchase of business will be there. Now here we can say that companies also issue shares for consideration other than cash, such as against purchase of land and building, plant and machinery, or purchase of business or services taken. So this entry should be passed, and for that we are having two sets of entries. First is if that company they are purchasing any asset. So on purchase of asset, entry will be sundry assets account to vendors. Individually here it is written, suppose company they have purchased machinery, land and building, or any other asset. So all assets will be individually debited here, and to vendors, if that name will be given of the vendor, that will be written. Second, if it is a case of purchase of business, then sundry assets account debit, goodwill account debit to sundry liabilities account to vendors account to capital reserve. Now few things here we have to keep in mind, that in the question sundry assets and liabilities will be given. Okay, two kinds of question will be there. First, in that net assets will be given. So direct we will use that amount. If net asset is not given in the question, then we will do a small calculation for the amount of net asset. For that sundry assets minus sundry liabilities, and after that we will have net assets. Another is, we can write here amount sundry assets individually. All the assets we have to write to sundry assets account debit. Then goodwill, this I'll explain later. To sundry liabilities, all the individually we have to write all the liabilities. Okay, and after that this again I will explain. Here name of the vendor will come. Now what this goodwill and capital reserve is. So goodwill, here this one, if the purchase consideration means after, as we are deducting sundry liabilities from the assets, if any consideration after deducting it, if some amount is left out, that amount will be considered as goodwill and hence it will be debited. If there is different, if net asset is less, okay, and if net asset is less than the purchase consideration, then we will have capital reserve. Likewise, so one thing we have to keep in the mind, that either goodwill or capital reserve will appear at a time, means both will not be there in any case. Either goodwill will be there or capital reserve will be there. Now this was the first set of this purchase issue of shares for consideration other cash. Second set of journal entry is on the issue of shares. Again we are having two options here, at par and another is at premium. At par means whole application, the total amount of share will be given in lump sum at one time only, and this will be again divided into two, at par and premium. Par means suppose that value of one share was 100, it has been issued for 100 only, it is called par. Premium, as share was of 100 and it has been issued for 110, so here 10 rupees is premium. Likewise, so what will be the entry here? Vendors account debit to share capital if it is at par. If it is at premium, so entry will be vendors account debit to share capital to securities premium reserve. Now before writing this journal entry, we have to do one calculation regarding the number of shares to be issued. Why it is necessary? Because in this purchase consideration or other than cash one question, number of shares will not be given, we have to calculate it. So for the calculation of number of issued shares issued, we have to take purchase consideration and we will divide it with the issue price of share. Suppose purchase consideration is 1 lakh, okay, it seems like 0 but it seems like 6 but it is 0, okay, 1 lakh. Purchase consideration is 1 lakh and company they have decided the price of one share as 100. Now we will divide it. Now 1000 share will be considered as issued share. Likewise we have to do. Now if any incorporation expenses or preliminary expenses are there, so incorporation expenses are that expenses which company have incurred for the as the service they have rendered to the company. So as expenses it will be debited. Okay. So incorporation expenses or preliminary expenses debit to promoters, and that amount will be a number of shares as it will be issued, then entry will be promoters account to shares capital. Likewise we are having journal entry for the underwriters. Okay, who are the underwriters? So underwriting means a contract by which a person known as issue of shares to the a person known as underwriter, and they agrees usually for the commission to take the shares which has not been subscribed by public. That time entry will be underwriting commission account to underwriter's account, and then the issue of shares entry will be written, that is underwriter's account to share capital. Now how it will be disclosed in the balance sheet? It will be shown as the under subscribed share capital. Either two choices we are having, either as the subscribed and fully paid up, or subscribed but not fully paid up, and that is under notes to accounts on shares. Very soon I will be sharing practical problems with you, and the topics I will tell according to the chapter which will be coming in your exam. Thank you.